Today is a big assembly day. We started off, we have that front assembly. That is all bolted on there, ready to go. We're just putting everything together now. That's the whole theme here. That's what we're trying to do. Moving forward, I've got both of the gas tanks in. Those were kind of a pain to finagle them in there, but all good, all tightened down. Everything's ready to go. A lot of this right here, I just wanted to make sure I could do everything I could without Zach's help. We'll get to what he's doing in a moment here. Got the front switch panel in, the other gas tank, moving over to the back here. Radiator is all bolted in, ready to go. Intercooler is great, good to go as well. Tight, those mounts are looking great. For this front control arm thing that's gonna help turn the wheels, that I need to get some more bolts for, so that's not gonna go on quite yet, but almost there. Moving over to this side back here, we have the reservoir in and pretty much ready to go. That plate's looking nice, it's in a cool spot. Today's theme is going to be assembly, and we are building the fuel system. We're gonna get into that in a moment, but let's go over to what Zach's doing right here. Zach, would you care to explain kind of what you're doing here?
I'm just cleaning the surface of the flywheel right now, and then I'm gonna install the clutch.
Okay, but you were we're torquing down the flywheel, getting all that stuff ready too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The flywheel's torqued down, the adapter plate's all torqued down. Just kind of prepping everything now.
Yes, so we're prepping everything for the trans, which is not quite done yet. We do have to do a tiny bit of assembly on that. We're also gonna paint it, but for the most part, that's ready to go.
Oh, did you tell them what we found out about the trans?
So apparently, we met somebody, Zach actually met somebody who was running a very similar setup, and they said that their trans was good until about 220 horsepower. That was originally
running it, and they're beating on it at 220 horse.
So they're still running it, and it's still going good. That was one of the big concerns that we had with the trans, because we thought that this trans is actually only rated for like 70 horsepower, and we're gonna be putting at least like 250, 300-ish through it. So that was something that we were curious about. We thought that it would immediately just shred. Supposedly they hold up pretty well. We're not gonna be beating on it as soon as we turn it over anyways, but it's good to know that it's gonna last us at least for a little while. So the clutch is going on right now, and then is that the pressure plate? The bird cage?
This is the pressure plate.
Okay, pressure plate. So that's going on too. And then what needs to go in between that and the trans? Is that just...
That's it.
That's it?
This clutch goes in there. Yep.
I've never built a clutch before, so thank God Zach's is here.
I'm gonna need your help. That hold.
Yep. Aim hold. The black color is looking really nice. This is the part of the job that's actually very exciting. Some of the tear down and some of that like sanding and all that stuff, it gets pretty tedious. But now's the exciting stuff. I'm not gonna be too much help helping Zach build that area over there with the flywheel, so I'm gonna start assembling stuff and getting it ready so that we can build the fuel system. It's actually coming together. 1 year later, looks like we did a lot. So we have most of the fuel stuff here laid out. These are all of our fittings. They're working on the wire over there right now. These are a couple different random fittings. We have a T-thing, fuel pump, and then the fuel filter. Our tentative plan right now is we need to run 2 of these braided lines from each tank. We have the fittings in down there. Each tank, we're gonna run those to the center. Somewhere right here is where we're gonna put that fuel pump. And then, hey, does the fuel pump go? I would assume the filter goes in between the fuel pump and the.
It goes before the fuel pump.
Before the fuel pump? Yeah. Okay, so we need to put in between the fuel pump and the T.
We got 2 of them.
Yeah. So we're gonna put the T down, then. So we're gonna tee them together, then put the pump. No, fuel filter, then pump. Okay, perfect. So that's what's gonna happen right down there. Then we're gonna be able to lead it into the engine. This is the type of ingenuity we like to have on the team. We didn't have a spacer, so we used a wrench.
Huh? What'd you say?
What I just put on here is our throttle body. This is the manual drive-by cable throttle body. This, hopefully, we can't put everything on here yet. We have the turbo, we have a lot of other stuff, but we can't put totally everything on this block yet because we need to put it into the frame. The clearance is not the best for that, so we need to put a lot of that stuff like the turbo on when it's already inside here. But for the most part, I'm just assembling what I can. Over on the fuel side, we might be changing up our plans slightly a little bit. We need to take into account where we're gonna mount everything. We have a lot of stuff like this fuel filter with these brackets that needs to be mounted on the frame somewhere, but we don't have all the space in the world, so we kind of have to plan it out. However, we do have a good amount of space kind of up here by like the passenger footwell, driver footwell. We don't have as much space because the pedal box needs to go there. Just sort of areas like this, we might actually run the fuel pump and filter through here and then back to the motor. That might be the best bet just for room purposes. Back here, we do not have a lot of room, and we also need to make sure we're steering clear of the transmission, and then we get the battery on that side. We just have more room up front, so we're gonna see what we can do about that. The boys are working on the fittings. This is kind of the whole theme of what's going on here. Question, Zach.
Yes.
The fuel pump's gonna be all the way up here. Is that gonna like, does it need to be close to the motor? Is that
No, so that's just gonna feed the high pressure fuel pump over there. That's the one we just need to we have enough pressure.
Okay, so there's technically two fuel pumps, one sucking it from the tanks and then one sucking it into the motor?
So this only handles, so every car, like modern fuel injection cars, have a high pressure fuel pump to pressurize the fuel injectors. That just pressurizes that, which pressurizes that even higher. That's like running at 14,000 PSI, or 1,400 PSI, anything? Say what?
14,000 PSI.
That's diesel engines. Diesel engines run that high.
Okay.
But that's like 1,400 PSI.
So this is kind of, you know, what they're doing here. They're just attaching all these fittings and everything. We got this cool little clamp thing. But while we have a moment here, we're gonna take the Evo for a whip. She's got the evil eyes, whatever those are called. We have reached our destination, the Taco Bell drive-thru. The bag has indeed been secured. So good news about food now. I can actually, because I have a business, write these off on my taxes. I guess the only thing better than Taco Bell is tax-free Taco Bell. Even though it has been pretty expensive, most of the stuff we're getting and most of the parts are pretty cool, pretty high quality. Like, look at how aesthetic this looks. They all look very nice, and they're all gonna operate pretty well. Like, come on, that just looks cool. It's cool to look at. These are all gonna like work together pretty nicely. Yeah, it sucked paying for them, but they look very nice. Like even like the two gas tanks, like those are expensive, but it's nice, it looks good. We got most of the fuel system done. Let's recap what's going on here. So, we have the two gas tanks. Both of those are gonna lead down the center here into the passenger footwell. They're gonna first go into the fuel filter, then after that they're gonna run through the fuel pump, and then this is gonna run straight back into the motor, and then it will connect right here to this high pressure fuel pump. The fitting that we bought that goes right here was the wrong size, so we do have to buy a new one of that. And we also ordered a few new adapters here because we needed a couple more AN fittings. For the most part though, the fuel system is all laid out, mostly done. We need to button it up a little bit and just like tie it down for good. However, it's looking pretty good. So that's definitely gonna get wrapped up in the next video. Another item we really have to do is I've gotta paint the trans. I've kind of been putting it off. I've just been busy the last couple days, but that is going to happen in the next video. It's very important that we paint that and get that done because that goes right in the center there. And in order to get most of this other stuff on, I need to get that on first. So that's sort of holding us up in that aspect. So that's gonna get done ASAP. There's still a few other random things we gotta button up, like these cap ends right here, a few random parts here and there. Also, after the trans is done being painted, we need to completely build it. We have all the pieces, but we just took out a few to make it lighter and easier. So that all has to get put back together. That's gonna be a big project in the next video. But guys, she's coming together. Like, I'm starting to get excited. It's really cool. It's looking nice. It's feeling good. Over here on the motor, we have the whole flywheel and everything ready to go up to the trans. Massive shout out to Zach and Fonz for helping me build this fuel system today. In the next video, we're gonna do that trans painting and probably assembly. Also, we need to do the whole pedal system. I'm gonna mount that up, bolt it in. We're gonna mount the seats up, see exactly where we want to put the pedal system. Seats probably aren't gonna stay in right now because we have some stuff we have to bolt on underneath there. Just some other couple random things that we gotta button up. Like a lot of right now, we just need to button things up and make it perfect, zip tie a few things up. Like these, for example, I have to bolt on to the bottom floor right here. But we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I can see how this thing is coming together. We're doing good. Just kind of spitballing here after we assemble some of the stuff in the back with the trans and then the fuel system, working on the pedal system, a few things like that. I think we might move on to the suspension and brakes. We have all of that stuff in stock here. I just haven't started that project because we're not done with all of this stuff yet. I'm kind of thinking that's maybe like 2 or 3 videos down the line. I think last steps are going to be after the motor's in. We have to mount a few things, like we just got to mount the turbo, mount some of those lines. We have to put all of our liquids in there. We have to do a few random things like run all of our tubes, our charge piping, things like that. But we can't do that until the motor's in. This has been quite the project and I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you want to see more Sandrail content, it's gonna get really cool. So make sure to hit subscribe for that. Thanks one more time for checking this out and I hope to see you in the next one.